Call to order the town board meeting. Ask that all members please rise for a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time we have a public hearing. I ask the town clerk to please read the public hearing notice.
Notice of public hearing to amend Chapter 211 zoning to create a cannabis retail dispensary overlay zoning district scheduled for the, well, it was scheduled on the 25th day of October, 2021 at 7 p.m. in the Victor Town Hall, was published and posted in the Daily Messenger newspaper on October 15th, and a copy was also posted on the signboard of the Town Hall and the Village Hall. It was held open.
Okay, thank you, Karen. So at this time, I ask if there's any members of the public care to speak for or against this possible zoning amendment. It's your call. I mean, yeah, just
Just make sure your mic's on. There should be a little green button there.
Dave, hit this, do this.
No, it's not on.
Not on.
There's a
A
little
button at the bottom.
base. Gray button on the bottom.
See a green light?
There you go.
There we go. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak again about the proposed cannabis overlay district. I did speak at the last meeting. It seems inevitable that sooner or later the town of Victor will opt in for the legal sale of cannabis product. Before this happens, the question I have for the board here is, have we considered the long-term implications of this decision? And also, have we given consideration to the existing residents whose properties border the proposed parcels in the commercial district? Cannabis dispensaries may be legal in New York, but are not desirable neighbors to residential neighborhoods. I know the board respects the wisdom of the town planning board, even though they don't have any decision-making process here. But you received the minutes from the last planning board meeting. And at the top of page 3, Mr. Galena says, given the ability to opt now and opt in later, maybe my personal recommendation would be to opt out at this point till we understand the long-term implications of this in other communities. So I think that's pretty good wisdom he has there. And I think all the members that voted all kind of agreed with him that it was time to opt out. But the one that really struck me here was Mr. Logan, who kind of has my back here. It says, I would echo that sentiment. If you were to opt in, I don't know if I would want sales in my backyard if I was a resident. I think of Victor Commerce Park Crossing that's behind a series of residences there, and I think I would advise taking a few of the locations off the overlay district. Otherwise, I think what Al said is certainly a prudent approach, and see how it goes. We can always opt in a year from now. As you remember, the last time I was here, my concern was for protecting the residents from having an undesirable business nearby, which could potentially affect property values and possibly safety. Who knows? So I did notice the latest draft resolution has deleted 4 parcels from the previous version of the document, but I didn't see any changes or additional distance requirements for residential properties. Perhaps removing the parcels completely makes more sense than a linear measurement of 1,500 feet, as I had suggested at the October 25th meeting. So rather than saying, the businesses have to be a certain distance, just eliminate them altogether, which would really be less restrictive. So please consider either of these two and amend the draft resolution, regardless of whether or not you opt in or opt out now. Let's get the resolution in order to protect the residents So if it does get decided in the future or tonight, we're covered. So with that said, thank you again, respectfully, Dave Anderson.
Board members, Dave did come to see me, and we did talk about a buffer, and I apologize, I haven't done anything regarding that. I would look at where Dave lives, and the residence it backs up, we'll say the strip plaza where Men's Warehouse is, and Goodwill used to be. And then in addition, I was thinking, there is, we did remove the parcel. There's apartments over on Turk Hill, but again, without doing any measurements, I don't know how close that would be to any type of plaza. So I'm not opposed to some type of review of a buffer. In speaking to council, that, and also I've done some research. I think it was in Lee, Massachusetts, and what they did, they within their law, they identified that there would be no more dispensaries than liquor stores within their community as well. So, in speaking to council, actually, when I didn't speak to you, Frank, I spoke to John, and John said you could, because it is a local law, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Right.
you could always come back and amend it. Okay.
So, C2, section 211-27, C2. Which is, should we look at the other cannabis? So, if you're looking, if this town board was looking to create a buffer, would put it.
Could Frank turn his mic on?
Frank?
We could maybe add it as another enumerated condition in that paragraph. But, that's up to you guys. But you do have the ability to amend this local law at any time.
Well, I know we have the ability to amend, but maybe, to Supervisor Maron's point, as far as maybe actually getting a few measurements out there and looking at some of the parcels in question. I mean, are we under a timetable to get something on the books, or can we table it for a little bit?
So what you'd have to do is, the next meeting, you'd have to do an opt-out
Right.
for this year, and then could readdress it next year, do the measurements, because I appreciate council's ability, or allowing us the ability to add language, but without Councilman Condon's point of trying to do a true measurement, because I don't want to throw out, say, 500 feet, and all of a sudden we realize, well, Jesus, all intents and purposes, they're not going to be able to do anything in that plaza or that plaza. So something that is at least fair. And then I would like to pursue the liquor store aspect, whether it's, I can't recall if it was the total number of liquor stores within your community or 50% of the total amount of liquor
And
stores.
did you talk to John about that specific point?
Yes, both of them,
Okay,
yes.
Because that obviously is a requirement in a municipality in Massachusetts that has a different state program than New York does.
Okay,
So I'll circle back with John to make sure that there's nothing in particular about the New York State program, regular statutes, that would prevent that. If it doesn't, then yes, you could add that as a condition too.
okay.
No more than any, liquor stores in the town.
So maybe, because Councilman Condon, to your point about time, tabling, I guess we could, if there's any, those opposed to it, close the public hearing. Next meeting, have the opt-out resolution and vote on that.
I would
Then
agree.
readdress this with more information in 2022.
That
Would
gives
you
us a
rather
little more
do that
time.
than
Yeah.
amend it after the fact?
I'd rather do it once rather than,
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
too. I would too.
But you're now opting out.
Correct.
Opt out.
Because we have to make a decision one way or the other by the 31st of December, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no,
so,
no action is you're opting in.
in,
So we have to
automatically.
take action next meeting
Right.
to opt out.
And if we opt out by December 31st, we can opt in
Any,
anytime after
After the
that.
fact.
But if we opt in, and then we don't like the regulations that are coming down from Albany, or the oversight, or any of that, we wouldn't have the opportunity to opt out after that fact.
correct.
I'm not opposed to slow and steady.
Yeah, no, I would be too. I'm in agreement. I think we should opt out, take a little more time, see what else comes down the pike, and then we can move forward after the fact.
Now, how does that impact, if we do that, how does that impact what might already be in motion with the village?
Doesn't impact it at all.
Yeah, the village is already, they've identified an area, they've opted into the sale through a dispensary. Yeah, and there's, everything I've read is, we don't see our state government in a position to provide licenses to individuals. To be surprised if it's in next 2022. It'd probably be more likely to be in 2023.
And even first quarter 24.
Yeah, I mean, with the way,
Yeah.
I mean, with what's going on in Albany, right? And with the politics involved, I mean, Hochul's got, a challenge to get reelected and all those issues that are coming up. And I just think that, I don't know.
Supervisor, did the village zone specific to that one specific site?
Yes, they did. So if you go up here Maple Avenue or Route 444, if you know where Finn's Tap Room is and the old Mickey Finn's, so there's a blue caboose on the right. So that building and the blue caboose and the building next to it have been purchased by two gentlemen that actually came before this board quite some months ago. And the sole purpose that'll end up being a dispensary. In addition, they took that whole quadrant, that little road there, including Finn's Tap Room, and that is the zoned area, the only zoned area for a village dispensary. They have opted out of a lounge, and they've implemented smoking regulations, just like the town did as well.
So it's basically cash and carry, never, whatever, picking it up and
Yeah.
leaving.
I just wanted to confirm that one point because I guess the concern, that comforts me because the concern I guess I would have had is if the whole village was open to that and we opted out, you end up concentrating those establishments in the village where personally, as a resident of Victor, I would rather see a dispensary towards the commercial corridor side than in the village as a taxpayer and as someone that walks around the town.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear that. So there won't be a concentration of those in the village if we do opt out and other places are looking to come in the meantime before we opt in.
So I kind of stopped the public comment by responding to Dave's visit to myself, and so I'd like to, again, ask the public if there's any other public comment. The intention being that we would close the public hearing on the 27th, 2 weeks from tonight, do a resolution to opt out of the cannabis dispensary. So, any other public comment? If there is none. David.
Thank you. My name is Dave Mankin at 1174 Chaucer. Please, I have a question to ask. If you decide to opt in at any time, what would be the reason to opt in? I know you can, but is it because of, extra taxes? Or is it just another business that you feel that it's a good thing for the town? I'm just curious. Why would you?
I would say, Dave, probably a large consideration would be for revenue. You hear what they're doing in Massachusetts, you hear what's going on in the other states. I mean, there's a tremendous revenue side to that, of which you could use those tax dollars to, do some other things. And I think the thing of it is that, in my opinion, and again, I'm just speaking my own personal opinion, is I don't think it's going away. I think it's here to stay. And, it's going to be legal in the state regardless of what we do. And And I would, frankly, I would just as soon see the tax dollars here as, you know, going to another town or another municipality. But I want to do it the right way, and I want to be I want to be cognizant of where we put it. And we've talked about it. I mean, originally we talked about, well, we'll go Chili's and stay up in the corridor. And then we said, we don't have to go to Chili's. We can go even further north of the thruway. We could put it up there in that residential area or that commercial area up there. So I just want to make sure we do it right. And I don't think there's a rush to judgment. It's not something we have to act on. So I just want to, I want to have boots on the ground. That's my opinion.
Do you have an estimate about how much revenue it would be worth to the town approximately? I know it's hard.
Yeah. I do not, sir.
Yeah.
I know, and this is just semantics, but I know that one of the articles we read from Massachusetts, a comparable town of a comparable, number of residents, again, it could be totally unrelated to what it would be here, but they were in the realm of like 300,000+ in tax revenue for the town. I don't know how that would compare. Obviously, different tax rates, a totally different system in Massachusetts, but I think that there's an opportunity for it to be in the hundreds of thousands.
I see.
So we referenced, when you spoke of Massachusetts, and then that's why both councilmen talked about a particular area zoned up by the mall. And again, the intention is to capture the commercial areas, not to hurt Mr. Anderson or the neighbors there.
Right.
Lee, Massachusetts, off the Massachusetts Turnpike. It's on, off, because people today, they're Googling on their phones, cannabis sales. I know New York State, it's legal. Where can I get it? And they get off the exit 45, they make their purchase, they get back on, and they're gone. So, again, not saying that we won't have Victor residents that would consume it, but again, it's,
It'll be a large, it won't be just our residents. And I think the other thing, it'll be interesting to see what the state does if they do anything with the billboards, because the billboards on 90 coming down Massachusetts, there's billboards that are saying, stop and get mom her cannabis before you leave the state.
Yeah,
So
they're everywhere.
They are everywhere. They are literally everywhere.
Dave, I mean, I could speak maybe for, I don't know, maybe the younger generation that's come to Victor, and I didn't grow up in Victor, but I came here. I got small kids, and I poll some of the residents that are, in my age group, where they have kids that are school age or younger, and I think that the common theme I heard back from them was, just get with the times. We got to keep with the times, and I think like it was mentioned already, this is something that is probably not going to go away. And I think keeping with, their opinion was, it's with the times, and it's, and whether right or wrong or we disagree, I think that that's the opinion of that generation of people. And I know personally, to me, I mean, I support holding off on it for now so we can get some of the specifics in place, but I do support moving forward with it. And I do that because, as more and more business goes online and e-commerce, marijuana, just as I see beer and liquor sales, aren't going online. They're brick and mortar stores. And when I go to pick up my bottle of wine at the local store, I'm supporting local. I don't go online to buy my wine. And I think that while I don't necessarily think I'll be buying marijuana, a lot of people will, and it's a brick and mortar. And when they shop brick and mortar, then they go to the next store, or they stop for gas and they stop at a local restaurant and patronize that. So I see it as the economic effects, not only of the sales tax, but it brings people to our community. Making sure also, though, that we don't want to create locations that drive crime and the concerns that have been brought up, and I understand those concerns, but I think if it's done properly, I think it is positively an economic impact to our town. So I understand the possible negative effects of it. I understand the concerns of it, and I share some of those concerns, but I think ultimately what I heard from some of the folks I talked to was, we got to keep with the times, and this is in the times now. So,
And so you are, I won't take up your time, I know.
Oh, no, you're good.
But, so you're saying, let's say that people come through on the I-90, and they have their phone and say, oh, we can get off here, get our kind of, but there are going to be plenty of other people along the I-90 interchange that will be doing the same thing. You know,
Dave, if you, just to add on to what he said, I believe it's here. We all know it's here. I believe in waiting to see what the state comes up with, but it is here. I truly believe that whatever form it gets to, it is going to be highly scrutinized, highly licensed, and there's a big perception difference in people knowing the difference of a consumption place or a dispensary. I'm probably a little more leery of a consumption opportunity, but the dispensaries are here. It is, if you believe what they say, and they use stuff that's grown locally and the stuff that the advantage to the states that are in, it's bringing huge dollars, but in a small way when the markets are brand new and people getting into it, there's a huge investment into it, so there's going to be millions of dollars invested in it. I'm not saying jump into it right away, but it is here, so we have to be ready for it, and I think it'll be scrutinized and regulated much higher than a liquor store would be when it does happen.
So just to clarify, the town has already opted out on allowing any consumption sites in the town. So no one can go to a retail location and consume cannabis.
right.
They've also passed an anti-smoking law, which means no one can purchase cannabis and then walk the streets of the town or village of Victor and smoke it openly. These are just retail stores where people would come in, purchase, and leave.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
There's no further comments? Take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And next, real quick, those here in attendance, appreciate you wearing a mask. I also want to mention that all town operations will be closed Friday, December 24th for Christmas Eve, and Friday, December 31st for New Year's Eve. The final town board meeting of 2021 will be on December 27th. Next year, January 22nd, the town board will have their annual organizational meeting. In addition, it'll be our first town board meeting of the year on January 3rd. So board members, get that on your calendar. Monday, January 3rd, organizational meeting, and then we'll transition right into the town board meeting. And the second meeting of the month will then revert back to the fourth Monday, which will be the 24th of January. So the 3rd of January, org and regular meeting, and then the 24th for our regular meeting. Okay, moving to approval of meeting minutes. Approval of the November 24th, 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And when our clerk is ready, we'll ask her to introduce the affidavit of claims.
Manifest 23 for 2021 in the amount of $224,181.76 has been reviewed by the Victor Town Board with the following accounts charged: general townwide, general outside village, highway townwide. The lighting districts of Fishers, Brookwood Meadows, High Point, Cobblestone, Coil Ridge, Rolling Meadows, Stone Lay, and Legacy at the Fairways, S&S Consolidated Sewer Fund, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you, Karen. As we always do, we try to identify expenditures that are in the range of or exceed $5,000. As you can see, we start with accent striping, and we move to Admar Supply, American Rock Salt, Road Salt, payment to LaBella Associates. We have identified that there are chargebacks to developers, and that the subtracting that amount, total town cost is $33,728.25. Next is payment to Lewis General Tire, Noco Energy, Ontario County, Sunoco for gasoline purchases, and Villager Construction for the paving and labor for our town hall parking lot. Total of the above-mentioned expenditures is $163,586.83. Total town expenditures minus the previous mentioned expenditures equals $60,594.93. Board members, any question on this evening's abstract as introduced by our town clerk? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve the payments thereof.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Privilege of the floor. We have no request for privilege of the floor this evening. Moving to public concerns, comments and concerns. Any public comment at this point?
Hello. My name's Carol Fisher, 632 Wangum Road, also called County Road 42 in Fishers. I am here to speak about, let me get all this stuff. This is a statement to the town board. I have come tonight to speak about the sound of pickleball in Fishers Park. Larry addressed this issue at the Parks and Rec Citizen Advisory Committee last Tuesday on the 7th, and now I would like to say a few words. First, I want to thank Brian Emelson, Jeff Rader, and Troy Page for the trees planted between the courts and our property. It will be many years, probably decades, before these trees may help, but we want them to know that we truly appreciate their efforts and concern. As you may remember, I spoke before the board on March 8th, and I presented a petition. The reason for that was the possibility of lights in Fishers Park. We did not want the lights because we did not want to have the noise of pickleball extending into the evening. And I stated in the evening we only wanted to hear crickets and not puck, puck, puck. I included in my statement that the pickleball players are a wonderful group. They're welcoming and fun-loving and they're hardworking, and I still do truly believe that. I really only know about 5 of them, but they're really great people. 2, any activity has sound, true. And 3, it was even, this is what I said then, it was even joyous to hear people having a good time, whether that was playing pickleball or kids riding their bikes or roller skating or playing tennis. At that time, excuse me, in March, pickleball was running about 8 in the morning till noon, and then in the afternoon, it was next to nothing. And then toward the evening, play would step up again, a little bit. In March, it grew steadily. There were 2 times when pickleball slowed down or totally stopped. One, when the courts were being done to add additional courts, and when they sealed the courts. After those completions, court use really picked up. Now it was 8 a.m. to 12:30, a break approximately 12:30 to 1:15, then 1:15 until after dark, continual. No lights, but they were still playing after dark. Puck, 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 continual. I said in March that it was a joy to hear the people having a good time, and I meant it. But after the court expansion, it was pickleball. No kids, no other activities, just pickleball, all the time. No break, no joy. It was like water torture. But instead of drip, 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 it's puck, 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 all day. It never stops. Sitting by a campfire is out of the question. If Larry wants to do gardening during the day, he has to wear headphones. The petition I bring tonight is signed by our neighbors, but more important than their signature are their 3.5 pages of comments they made. Lastly, most importantly, I want to make a point. It should be apparent by now that pickleball is huge, and the demographic trends, it's only going to grow. The facility next door to us, expanded to 8 courts, will not meet the needs this spring. I predict that Victor will need 16, 24, 36, maybe 50 courts. But the present courts and those additional ones should not be near homes. Victor has a plot of land. It's Paperone Park. And that is where pickleball should be. Now, I have copies of everything for everybody.
Carol, do you have a
Listen.
recommendation, or are there thoughts on what you guys think could be done to improve this?
Yeah, they move everything to Paparone Park.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I understand that, but at this time, that's where those pickleball courts are. Are there? I mean, I don't know what we could. I mean, I'm not sure what we can actually do to set hours and timeframes, but I mean, I empathize with the situation that you have. Is there something that, I guess,
I
on
don't
behalf of the
see-
town, could we set hours, or organized pickleball can only occur from certain hours?
That would be a nice thought, but if you can stop it at 11:30 in the morning and that would be it, that would be wonderful. But I do not see how you're going to, any kind of regulation. People are just going to come. They come from everywhere. So I don't see how. Any restrictions, I don't see it. Okay, that's Brian's. Okay, so Jack.
Okay. You know what I'll do? I'll give that to our town clerk.
Thank you.
Otherwise, she'll just come and take it from you anyways, Carol.
Okay.
You,
Thank you.
And thanks very much for letting me speak. I think it's wonderful that on every agenda is this public comment and concerns. And more people should take advantage of it. I mean, your own 3 minutes, a lot can be done in 3 minutes. So thank you very much.
Welcome. Susie, do you have anyone? Okay, moving along in the agenda, you have reports of town officials, starting with our report from our Parks and Recreation Director. There's a few items that I had put in there. Victor Fire District report, our traffic, enhanced traffic report. In addition, I just want to mention how successful, and want to thank our town clerk and her one of her deputies as well, Roxy, and for their support. The turkey trot, I think there was 850 plus participants on Thanksgiving morning, and it was a great turnout and great use of this facility as well. We did receive a nice thank you card from Mark Hamilton as well. His appreciation for our highway superintendent and his team when they had the Thanksgiving basket program, providing one of our highway signs. So thank you very much for that, Mark. There's been a couple meetings with Eastview Mall and the Sheriff's Department on mall traffic and safety plans. We were supposed to do a press conference there this morning, but unfortunately a number of members of the Sheriff's Department who are going to participate are under quarantine right now. So probably have something down the road. Unfortunately, this weekend we did lose a 46-year-old father of two, a non-vaccinated individual who succumbed to COVID-19. It's we currently have about 39 individuals from our county are currently hospitalized. I know Thompson Health has been pushed to extreme measures there, so it's been extremely difficult. We continue to do vaccines and continue to do boosters for those who've received the, either one of the three shots before. In addition, I want to thank December 4th, the Local Development Corporation for Victor's Jingle Mingle event. If any of you were able to make it down here, it was very busy. I think they had over about 430 individuals. Great use of town hall here as well. Again, I know the Girl Scouts were here. I know Labella Associates was here as well as part of the access management and getting feedback from individuals as well. So that worked out real well. Kathy Rayburn last Monday hosted a COVID relief program, and a number of the restaurants here within our county, they were here. It's a organization that Visitors Connection and the county IDA hired to assist as far as having individuals fill out forms. So there was a number of individuals I recognized in the room, and they just said they're too tired or they don't have enough time. They get on these state websites and, you get frustrated pretty easily. So they really were quite grateful to have this opportunity. Our next town board meeting, I wanted to do it tonight, but the next town board meeting, we'll do it because the Fishers Fire District was not able to send the proper individuals that we could recognize, but we want to do a proclamation to recognize the 100th anniversary of the Fishers Fire District, so we will do that at our next meeting. I did hand out a press release to the board members, has to do with Ontario County, and as far as the face mask, one of our neighboring counties, Livingston County, said they're not going to enforce it. People have been asking me all along, Jack, what are you going to do? I said, I've been doing the same thing we did when former Governor Cuomo said we had to have a mask mandate. We didn't close any buildings. We didn't close any businesses. We didn't shut down any businesses. We just had nice, cordial conversations with people and just asked them to be respectful of their neighbors, respectful of others, and let's continue to try to be safe and get through this. So I also want to mention one thing. I have been asked about how come Ontario County is not providing free home COVID tests. Again, Monroe County was one of, I think it's statewide, 6 municipalities that received part of the CARES Act. I think it was $1 million, and what they were able to do is they purchased these COVID tests, and they were distributing them last week. We, Ontario County, with 8 other counties, not excluding Monroe County, 8 other counties, based on our population, we have requested $600,000 from the state of New York. And as of Friday midday, they told us they don't have any. So very disheartening. We hope we can turn that around, purchase some if need be, and have some available. And I know, they can be, I did purchase 2 myself this past weekend. I think they're about $22, $23 for, I think, a test kit. So hopefully we'll get some from the state as well. But just we've been throughout this COVID situation. Last year was Monroe County, again, that CARES Act money. When you got $1 million that you have to use by the end of 2021, you find things to use it, spend it on. And so I know they provided face shields for barbers and hair salons last year. These type of cloth masks for school districts, testing. They've done, Adam has done a very good job with the money over there. But again, because many of our residents work in Monroe, we read the media releases, it's frustrating when they want to know how come our own county can't do the same. So it's disappointing. Board members, any committees you'd like to report on?
I'd just like to mention that I attended both of the Turkey Trot and the Jingle Mingle recently, and I was, quite honestly, I was blown away with both of those events. They were attended to a degree that I didn't anticipate. They were well run. The precautions taken, I thought, were very good. People were, especially in this room, doing registrations and all types of things. People were very respectful of it. There were no issues, and the town staff did a great job with it. I hope we continue to do those things. It was 2 wonderful events.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Nice to see people out and about, isn't it, Drew?
Oh, my.
Yeah.
And you know what? For this, I mean, I brought my kids through here. My daughter had her face painted right here. She picked up the mic there, and the kids were singing Christmas carols in here.
You sure it wasn't all the fire trucks?
Tell them you run this place, Drew? Did you say, hey, I run this place? Tell your
I
daughter.
didn't get to that. She knows better than that. But the parade that came through that was coordinated with that, with Chief Frost from the Richmond Fire Department, who started that county parade a couple of years ago, who has the big rig he decorates up, and he's very passionate about it. Him and his daughter both, she works with me up at Fishers, and they're very good people, and they've done excellent work with that parade. And the whole thing was wonderful. And for the kids, they had a ball.
I know Bistro 11, Dominic usually doesn't get young families in there as patrons, and he had a lot of young folks during that afternoon and with their mothers and fathers, and really appreciate that. He has a young family, so he really enjoyed it, and so thank you. And I appreciate the photos you took on the for the turkey trot as well, sir. Okay, moving to resolutions, starting with number 1 is accepting a donation for the Veterans Appreciation Luncheon in the tune of $100 from Miss Rita and Dave Watson.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, resolution number 2 is awarding of the bid for the Break of Day Road culvert repair. I should mention that my understanding, I think this amount to CP Ward actually exceeds the proposed budget that was put together by about $90,000. So it's materials, it's maybe a little more detailed than what we thought, but we need to do it, but it's going to cost us more to do it.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 3 is, again, the need for a part-time labor in the transfer station and the hiring of Brian Boudreau.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
He did ask to see my refuse pass on Saturday, so he's been properly trained.
No, that's just you.
Who's this guy?
I think Councilman Kohovic's more accurate, though. They have your plate number. Number 4, standard workday and reporting for appointed officials.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, this should be the final step, I think, in the confirming the establishment of 378 County Road 9 into the sewer district.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 6, the appointment of Ontario County Public Health Director as our local health officer.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, intermunicipal agreement with the Sheriff's Office for court security. And we,
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Number 8, 2022 intermunicipal agreement for the enhanced law enforcement services.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
2022 Ontario County Dog Control Services. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 10, acquisition of an easement, Monroe County Water Authority, 1277 Brace Road and 0 Brace Road. Karen, do we have any changes to this, or this is the final version? I know,
Well, no, I had sent the easements to Kevin, and then he sent them back with, he wanted a rider added, but then Monroe County got back to me and they said that they feel that everything is okay. So that's kind of where we're left.
and you haven't seen this language?
No,
Okay.
So is there a real desperate need
No.
to adopt this easement? Acquisition of easement?
Yeah, they want to get moving on, they want to put
Who
this.
does, Monroe County?
They want to put the water main in. Yeah. They've been trying to get this one.
Can we push this off to, I've had a chance to talk to Kevin, or?
Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Table it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do like the side of the street they're going to put the water on, though. There is a future benefit to the town. And some property that some board members acquired a few years ago. So, number 10 is tabled. And number 11, no action. And moving to number 12, contract with Davis Ulmer for wet sprinkler protection.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Again, public comment, an opportunity for members of the public to address the town board. Suzie, we have no one. Okay, board members.
Motion to
Under,
adjourn?
I'd like to let you off that easy, but,
Yeah, that's right.
I know, I'm that bah humbug guy. Under rule number 1, to discuss proposed litigation. Rule number 2, to discuss the employment history of a particular person leading the employment of a particular person. And rule number 3, the proposed acquisition, sale, lease of real property. I need the town board, Director of Parks and Recreation, and Attorney Frank Pavia. A motion to go into executive
So
session.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
For Christmas Day.